What is up, everybody? Welcome back to racingdudes.com. Welcome back to another one of our Kentucky Derby profiles for the 2026 Kentucky Derby, presented by the Racing Dudes Betting Bible. Make sure to go over and get your Kentucky Oaks and Kentucky Derby Betting Bible. Right now, you can pre-order it, and it will be ready with all the picks and everything a week of the race. All right, let's get to it. Let's talk about Right to Party. That's what we'll talk about here on this video. 3 starts this year, 1 win, 1 second, 1 third, 4 starts overall. 1 first, 1 second, and 2 thirds. All right, let's look at these results. Let's talk about Right to Party here, trained by Kenny McPeak. And look, I think this is a horse that has been a little underwhelming, but seemingly getting a little bit better as well. Third in a maiden special weight on debut. Not so much worried about that race as it contains the Kentucky Derby. And then broke the maiden at Aqueduct. Third in the Gotham Stakes, came running late. Second in the Wood Memorial, came running late again. And both these races, you look at the Gotham and it's like, yeah, that horse is making up ground, is kind of running faster than anybody down the lane, just way too far behind. In the Wood Memorial, was kind of gaining again. I don't think was ever a real threat to winner Albus, but still was kind of making that move. So you saw the pace get pretty fast in the Wood Memorial and kind of fall apart. And this horse was able to pick up the pieces. It's something that could happen in the Kentucky Derby. You kind of look at the pedigree of this horse and I don't know about this. So the horse is by Constitution, which that seems okay for a mile and a quarter. Out of an MC mare, hard to say, that pedigree really screams, hey, let's run in the Kentucky Derby at a mile and a quarter. But you watch the horse on the track and you're not too worried about it because he has been finishing full of run down the lane in both of those races. So that's the good news there. Let's look at what this horse kind of running style has done. And we did kind of cover it, right? I mean, it's a horse that's going to drop back and try to make one run. So he's going to be dependent on the pace. There's no question about it. The pace is going to have to be very hot for him to really, come on and make an impact in this race. And so if he gets a hot pace, we have seen he is going to finish. I don't think another 16th of a mile or 1/8 of a mile, actually, in this case, is really going to bother him. It's just a matter of, can he close fast enough? That's going to be the big key. And so when we look at the negatives, that's the thing. Just 1 win in 4 starts so far, 1 win in 3 starts this year. He was competitive in the Gotham and in the Wood Memorial. He also never really felt like he was going to win. Those are also 2 pretty weak prep races. So the big negative is he's just too slow on paper, right? He just, from a speed figure standpoint, he's just not matching up with these other horses. And so that is definitely a major concern going into the race. And that's the thing that he's going to have to overcome. He's going to have to get a little bit faster. I will say he is improving. Each race seems to be better than the next. So that's good. There is a reason to think he will improve again in the Derby, but it's just to what level, and that's going to be the big question mark. So final verdict on Right to Party. I think he's earned it. I think those 2 prep races at Aqueduct, they're good enough to get him in. And I think that's definitely a thrill for the connections. And I'm sure they're very excited about it. I just think he has to get a little bit, he has to get better, and maybe he has to improve a little too much. Too soon. And I think there might be a race with his name on it down the road. I just don't think the Kentucky Derby is going to be it. The pace is going to have to be blazing, I think, for this horse to make too much of an impact. As we record this, I'm not sure it's going to be blazing hot up front. I think there could be early speed for sure that could spice things up, but not to the degree to let Right to Party kind of make a huge impact into this race. So now look, if we get 2 weeks from now, we get the past performances and it looks like there's going to be a lot of speed, maybe he becomes a player, but I think he's going to be closing late and maybe be a little bit too far behind to make up a huge impact unless that pace really gets going. So not a ton of interest from me for Right to Party in this year's Kentucky Derby. All right, guys, how to leave this video. Hit that like button if you like it. Subscribe. You really like it. Want to get alerted anytime we do videos like this. And most importantly, stay tuned to the site for more Kentucky Derby news.